At 20 years old, Alina believed that love meant holding on no matter how much it hurt. She met Randeep during her first year of college. He was confident, protective, and always knew what to say. He made her feel wanted, needed, important. At first, everything felt perfect. Randeep called her his future. He said things like, "I don't want to lose you," and "You're different from other girls." Alina felt lucky. But slowly, love started to feel heavy. Randeep didn't like Alina spending too much time with her friends. He didn't like her posting photos online. When she laughed too freely or dressed confidently, he frowned. He'd say, "I'm not controlling. I just care about you." Alina believed him. So she adjusted. She replied faster. She explained herself more. She apologized even when she did nothing wrong. Soon, Randeep wanted to know where she was all the time. If she didn't answer his calls, he got cold silent. That silence made Alina anxious. She found herself checking her phone every few minutes, afraid of upsetting him. She stopped sharing her opinions. Stopped being honest. Love was no longer exciting. It was exhausting. One night, Alina was studying late when Randeep accused her of ignoring him on purpose. His words were sharp. Then came the familiar apology. "I only act this way because I love you too much." Alina lay awake that night, staring at the ceiling, asking herself one question. Why does love feel like fear? A few days later, Alina met her roommate Maya, who noticed how quiet she had become. After listening carefully, Maya said something simple but powerful. "Love shouldn't make you feel smaller." That sentence stayed with Alina. She started paying attention. She noticed how Randeep never took responsibility, how her feelings were always labeled overreacting, how she was constantly trying to prove her loyalty. That wasn't love, that was emotional control. When Alina finally told Randeep she needed space, he laughed. "You'll regret this," he said. "No one will care about you like I do." And suddenly, Alina saw the truth. Real love doesn't scare you into staying. With shaking hands and a heavy heart, she walked away. The days after were hard. She cried. She missed the memories. She doubted herself. But slowly, something changed. She slept better. She laughed louder. She felt free again. Weeks later, Alina realized something important. She didn't miss him. She missed the idea of being loved. Months passed. Alina grew stronger, more confident, more herself. When love entered her life again, it felt different. There was no fear, no control, no anxiety, just respect. If he makes you feel guilty for being yourself, walk away. If love costs you your peace, it's too expensive. If he truly loves you, he will never make you afraid to lose him. The right person will add peace, not pressure. They will support your growth, not silence your voice. Alina didn't lose Randeep. She found herself. And that was the greatest love story of all. 3 months had passed since Alina walked away. At first, the silence felt unbearable. Now, it felt peaceful. She had rebuilt her routine slowly. Morning walks with music in her ears. Late night study sessions without anxiety. Laughing with friends without checking her phone. For the first time in a long time, Alina felt like herself again. Then one evening, her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She already knew. "Hey Alina, it's me Randeep." Her heart skipped, not with excitement but with memory. She stared at the screen, breathing slowly. Another message appeared. "I've changed. I've been thinking about you every day. Can we talk?" The old Alina would have replied instantly. The old Alina would have believed those words. But this Alina paused. She remembered the sleepless nights. The fear of saying the wrong thing. The way her voice used to shake. Still, curiosity won. She agreed to meet him in a public cafe. Not because she wanted him back, but because she wanted closure. When Randeep walked in, he looked softer, quieter, less confident. "I missed you," he said immediately. Alina nodded calmly. "I know." That response surprised him. Randeep started talking fast. Apologies, regrets, promises. "I didn't realize what I was doing. I was insecure. I love you, Alina. I swear I'll do better." Alina listened carefully. Not with hope, but with clarity. She asked one simple question. "Randeep, when I told you I was hurting, why did you call me dramatic?" He froze. She continued. "When I asked for respect, why did you say I'd never find better?" Silence. That silence told her everything. Randeep finally said, "I didn't mean it like that." Alina smiled gently. "That's the problem," she said. "You never did." She explained how she had lost herself. How love had felt like pressure. How fear had replaced joy. Randeep tried to interrupt. She raised her hand, calm, steady. "I'm not here to argue," she said. "I'm here to tell you I'm not that girl anymore. For the first time, Alina wasn't asking for understanding. She was stating her truth. Randeep leaned forward. So, is this really it? Alina looked at him, not with anger, not with sadness, but with peace. Yes, she said. And I hope you actually change, just not for me. She stood up and walked away. No tears. No shaking hands. Just confidence. That night, Alina didn't cry. She slept deeply. Weeks later, life continued. Alina joined a small women's leadership group on campus. She started journaling, writing letters to her younger self. One page read, "Love should never feel like fear." Another, "Being alone is better than being controlled." Slowly, Alina began sharing her story with other girls. Girls who thought jealousy meant love. Girls who thought silence was normal. Girls who blamed themselves. They listened. And they felt seen. One afternoon, a freshman girl named Lily asked her, "How did you find the courage to leave?" Alina answered honestly. "I didn't feel brave," she said. "I just chose myself even while I was scared." That truth resonated. Months later, Alina met someone new, Ethan. There was no rush. No pressure. No constant texting. When she said no, he respected it. When she spoke, he listened. When she needed space, he gave it. Love felt calm. Not dramatic. Not painful. Just safe. And that's when Alina realized something powerful. Healthy love doesn't need to be proven. It doesn't test you. It doesn't threaten to leave. It stays without controlling. If he comes back with words but no accountability, don't go back. Apologies without change are manipulation. Closure doesn't always mean conversation. Sometimes it means clarity. You are not weak for loving deeply. But you are strong for walking away when love hurts. Randeep was a chapter. Not the whole story. Alina didn't lose love. She learned what love should never look like. And that lesson changed her life. One quiet night, Alina opened her old journal. Pages filled with apologies she never owed. Questions she never got, answers to dreams she had put on pause. She read one sentence written months ago. "Maybe if I love harder, he'll treat me better." Alina closed the journal. That girl didn't know her worth yet. But this Alina did. She realized something painful but freeing. Love should never require self-betrayal. From that night on, Alina promised herself one thing: never abandon herself again for anyone. Life didn't suddenly become perfect. Some nights, loneliness hit hard. Friends were busy. Couples surrounded her everywhere. People asked questions. "Why are you still single? He looked like a good guy. You should have adjusted a little." Alina smiled politely. But inside, she knew. Adjusting is different from disappearing. She chose peace over explanations. Almost a year later, Randeep tried one last time. A long message. "I lost you because I was broken. I see now what I did wrong. You were my best thing." Old memories knocked on her heart. But Alina didn't reread the message 10 times like before. She replied once, "I hope you heal. But I'm not your lesson, I'm my own future." Then she blocked the number. Not out of anger. Out of self-respect. With Ethan, everything felt unfamiliar in a good way. No anxiety before replying. No fear of disagreement. No guilt for needing space. When Alina said, "I need time," Ethan said, "Take all the time you need." When she shared her past, he didn't feel threatened. He felt understanding. For the first time, love felt like home, not a battlefield. Alina started speaking publicly at small women's events. She shared her story not to shame Randeep, but to save other girls from losing themselves. Girls cried. Girls nodded. Girls felt seen. One girl asked, "How do you know when to leave?" Alina answered, "When you start praying for strength instead of happiness, it's time." Her story didn't make her weak. It made her powerful. Years later, Alina stood in front of mirror. Confident, calm, whole. She realized something that changed everything. The most important relationship of her life was never with Randeep or even Ethan. It was with herself. Final ending. What Alina wants every girl to know. Alina learned that Love is not jealousy, control is not care, silence is not peace, pain is not passion. If a relationship costs you your sleep, your confidence, your voice, it's too expensive. You don't need to be chosen by someone who doesn't choose your happiness. Final message for young girls: one day, you'll meet someone who loves you without fear. Until then, become the woman who refuses to be treated less than she deserves. Alina didn't end a relationship. She ended a cycle. And that changed her life forever.